Hi, everyone. Welcome to Room 9, our region's largest classroom. My name is Mrs. Hewson, and I teach kindergarten at Hancock Elementary in the Hancock Place School District, which is located in South St. Louis County. But today, I'm here to teach you second grade social studies. Even if you're not in second grade, you can totally stick around and stay with me and learn lots of fun, interesting, and useful information. So today, we are actually going to be learning about maps. So I'm going to teach you lots of information about maps. And over the next couple of weeks, we will be talking a lot about geography. And geography is basically understanding our environment, like landforms, water, mountains, hills, those kinds of things. But today we're going to mainly focus on maps. What are maps? Do you know what a map is? Yeah, a map is a picture that helps us to do something. And I'm not going to give you that answer because my next question is, how is a map used? Well, a map is used to help us find places. And why do you think we need maps? Why are maps important for us? Exactly. A map helps us find places. Without a map, we might get lost. If we're traveling somewhere far away where we're not used to traveling, we might not know our way around, and a map can help us to find our way around. Maps are also useful to understand where everything in the world is. And there's lots of different kinds of maps. So today we're going to talk about the different kinds of maps that are out there for us to use. So I have a few that I would like to share with you. The first map that I want you to look at is actually called a globe. So do you see this here? This is my globe that I use in my classroom. So this is a blow-up globe, but sometimes you might see one that is on a stand and it's even tilted a little, okay? So this is a globe, which is a big round map. Now a globe is not a map that you would use to help you find your way to a certain place, like if you were driving to the grocery store and you needed to know how to get there. You wouldn't use a globe for that. A globe is more to show you all of the different countries and continents, okay? So a continent is this big area, okay? And there's 7 continents. So this one is Africa. And then up here is Europe. Over here is Asia, okay? Down here is Australia. Down at the very bottom, we have Antarctica. We have South America, and we have North America. Okay, so those are the 7 continents that you can find on the globe. Those are the 7 continents that are a part of our world. So if I wanted to know where a continent is, I could use a globe because I can look at it and I can say, okay, well, I know that I live in North America and this is North America. So I live on this continent. You guys all live on this continent with me as well. We live in North America. And I could use a globe to say, well, if I live in North America, then how far away would it be for me to travel to Australia? Well, Australia is all the way over here. So here's North America, here's Australia. Do you think it's close or far? It might look like it's not that far away when we're talking on the globe, right? When we're looking at the globe. But this is a very small model of what Earth actually looks like, okay? Now, The globe also tells us some useful information as far as where the different oceans are. So there's lots of different oceans. There's the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and there's other bodies of water as well. So you have, here's the Indian Ocean over here. You can also see other bodies of water like different bays and seas. Okay, so if you look up here at the top, you can see the Norwegian Sea, and there's the North Sea. And over here, since we live in North America, this is North America, you can see different bays like the Hudson Bay, which is up here above Canada, and the Gulf of Mexico. And you can also see some large lakes. So in North America, we have something that's called the Great Lakes. And if you look right here, those are the Great Lakes. Okay, so a globe is going to help you see the big parts of the earth, like the 7 continents and the oceans. Now, it also will show you the different countries. Okay, so countries are the different bodies that are within a continent. So we live on North America, that's this big continent. But did you know that the United States is only a part of that continent? So this blue part is the United States, but up here above us is Canada, and below us is Mexico, okay? And there's Central America, which leads us into South America, which is a whole nother continent. So that's pretty interesting that there's more than one country on our continent, not just the United States. There's also Canada and Mexico. And if you look up here, this is Alaska. Did you know that Alaska was not actually connected to the United States? It's a lot farther north. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? So this is a globe. This is one type of map that we can use. And like I said, this is going to be one that shows us continents, oceans, large bodies of water, and countries. Okay. Another type of map is a world map. Okay, so a world map is going to be a flat map, but it's going to show you the same information that a globe would, only it's not going to be a round model. It's a flat model. Okay, so the same thing, you're going to see the same basic information on this map. You'll see the continents, you see the large bodies of water, the oceans, and you can see the countries. Okay, again, this map is not going to be a map that you use to help you travel to get someplace. This is going to be one that you use just to see where the countries are around the world or where the continents are. Okay, so on this one, here's North America, and we live right here in the United States of America. Here's South America, here's Africa and Australia, and Europe and Asia, and then down here at the bottom is Antarctica. So it shows us that same information that the globe does, just in a flat format, okay? The other kind of map that you might see will be a map of a specific country, okay? So for example, we live in the United States of America, right? So here is a map of the United States. It's broken down by each state. So you can see each state is a different color, and it even gives you a little bit more information than those large world maps or the globe. Because when I look more closely at just the United States, I can see where each state is, and I can also see where some of the major cities are. Okay, the capitals are usually on here and some major cities. So for example, I live in Missouri, right? And I live in the city, St. Louis. Now, St. Louis is not the capital of our state, but it is a major city, so it is on our map. The capital is Jefferson City, so it's also on there. So this would be a map that could help you figure out what state you live in and what states are around you. So again, this probably isn't going to be a map that you would use to help you travel and find places. This is just going to be a map that you would see, that you would use to show you where each state is and maybe how close or far away they are from you, okay? So up here is Canada, down here is Mexico. But since we're just focusing on the United States on this map, that's why it is the largest part of the map, okay? So there's Texas, there's California, here's New York. And do you remember on the globe when I said we have Great Lakes? Well, here they are. You can see those on this map. And it actually shows you which states they're around. So Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. So again, this is what we would call a map of the United States, okay? Now, you can also find maps of other countries. For example, above the United States is Canada. So here is a map of Canada. Now, again, you're not going to use this map to really help you find directions on where to go, but this is just more of a map to teach you about where the different areas are, okay? So in Canada, you have territories, different territories. So here's Quebec and Ontario, and there's Alberta, British Columbia. So on this map, you can also see the bodies of water that surround it, as well as some of their major cities. Okay, so Calgary is one of their major cities, Quebec and Montreal. And here's the Hudson Bay, the Pacific Ocean over here, the Atlantic Ocean over here. So again, this is just a map of Canada. I also have a map of Australia. Now this one is a little more basic. This is a map of Australia that only shows you the different territories of Australia. It doesn't tell you anything about the cities that are in that country, just broken up by territory. Okay, so there's Western Australia, Northern Territory, South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and then down here is Tasmania. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit more of a basic map. Now, you can also find maps that are going to help you a little bit more with directions and getting around to places, okay? So I actually have a map that I want to share with you. That would be like a map of a neighborhood, okay? So here's what our map looks like. And when you look at this map, you're probably thinking, that's kind of confusing. I'm not sure exactly what you are showing me. So before we really get started on this map, I want to talk to you about a couple of things, okay? So this map is used or is drawn, made by using symbols, okay? So symbols are pictures that represent something. So I have some symbol cards that I've created. This is a garden. Okay, so this is the picture that I'm using to show garden. So if we look at our map, do you see the garden? Yes, it's right here, okay? Then I'm going to use this picture to show a lake. Do you see the lake on our map? Good. It's at the top. Right up here is our lake. I'm going to use this symbol to represent a road. Do you see the roads on our map? Good. This symbol shows a house. Here are all the houses. This is a tree. That one's pretty self-explanatory, right? We all know what a tree looks like. So you can see the trees on our map. And then the last symbol is a building. So I used a larger rectangle to show the buildings. So up here at the top, you can see our buildings. Then I noticed there's another garden here and a garden here. Okay. Now, do you see this right here? This is called a compass rose. And most maps are going to have a compass rose because it's going to help you to figure out which direction you need to go. Okay, so up here at the top of our compass rose, there's an N for north. Over here, you can see an E for east. Over here, you see a W for west. And down here at the bottom is an S for south. Now you might think, well, why do you need a compass rose? Well, if you're traveling and someone says you need to go north, doesn't mean up, right? Because the sky is up. North is the direction. So when you're looking at a map, it looks like north would be going up. But if you're traveling in a car, you're not going to go up, right? You're going to go north. So if you think of the map as flat like the ground, north would be going that way. Okay? And south would be going that way. And west is that way. And east is that way on my map. Okay? So that's why we use that compass rose. Now, I'd like to do a little activity. I would like to show you guys this map a little closer, and I want to see if you can find your way around using the map. Okay, so here is my map. Try to move it so there's no glare on there. So here is my map. Okay, now remember, I showed you guys our symbol cards. That is building. So we know that these over here are buildings. We have our trees. The smaller squares are houses. So we have our houses over here. The black lines are the roads. So we can think about traveling on the roads. The big blue shape is our lake, and the flowers show us the garden, okay? So if we were leaving our house, so let's say we live right here in this house, and we want to travel to the lake. We need to figure out which way to go to get to the lake. We can use our compass rose to decide which direction we need to go. We can also use words like up, down, left, right, okay, far or near. Those would all be words that we could use to help to describe where we need to go. So we're leaving our house. So we'll pull out of our driveway, okay? Now we're on the street, we're on the road. We can't just cut across the grass. So we need to go south and then east, right? Until we get over here. Now, which direction should I go to get to the lake? Right, we need to go up or north. We're going to go up until we get to the next road. Now I can choose if I want to turn here or if I want to go up a little further, but I'm going to choose to go here. If I go here, that means I'm going to turn left. And then which direction would I be traveling? I would be traveling west, okay? And I can go to the lake. Okay, now let's say that next we need to go to the store. Now remember, what were the buildings on the map? The big gray rectangles were the buildings. So we're going to pretend that we need to get over here to this store. Now we're here at the lake and it's time to go to the store. I'm going to continue going north and then east on my road. Now, when I get here, which way should I go to get to the store? North or up, okay? Then I'm going to go east into the parking lot and park my car. And then I would have to get out to walk to the store, okay? Okay, now we're finished with our shopping and it's time for us to go back home. How are we going to get back home? Get back in your car. You need to leave the parking lot. Go west. Okay, now where should I go? Remember, we live here. This is your house. You're going to go south until you get to your street. Then you turn left. Well, actually, if you were in the car, you'd be turning right. So we go west all the way back to your house. Okay, awesome. Now that you guys know how to read a map, and you can see that there are different symbols on our maps to help us, and that compass rose tells us our directions, I would like for us to work on making our own map. So go ahead and get out a piece of paper and some crayons. And we're going to work on illustrating a map of our town. So think about where you live. Think about where you live. Think about all of the things that are around you where you live. I'm going to give you just a second to grab your paper and your crayons. And then we are going to work on illustrating a map of our town. So I'm going to do it with you. And remember, we can use all of those symbols that we learned about, okay? So when I think about St. Louis, I know that there is a big river that kind of borders St. Louis. And Mississippi is how you spell that river, the Mississippi River. So here's the Mississippi River. And maybe you live close to it or far from it. You can decide how far away you think you live to add to your map. So I'm going to draw my house, and I actually live quite close to the Mississippi River. So I live kind of like here. I'm going to draw my house here. Okay, so there's my house. And my street kind of is curvy. So I'm going to draw like a curvy street that follows the length of the Mississippi River. So here's my street. And you know what? Whenever I am at work, I actually don't work very far from my house. So I'm going to make my street a little darker. I live fairly close to my work. So when I drive to school, I just have to leave my street and I go this way. So I probably need to add another street to show you. So this street takes me to my work. And I work at a school. that's called Hancock. So I can label it. I work at Hancock. Now there's lots of things that I see in between my house and my work. There's stores, there's trees, so I can add a lot more detail to my map. So I can add some trees. And I can add some stores. Just like I said, there's plenty of stores on my way too. So we'll add a store here and a store over here. And you know what? There's lots of houses on my way as well. So I can add some more houses. And I know that there's houses all around my school too. So I'm wondering if you live somewhere close to me. Do you live near the Mississippi River? Do you live somewhere near Hancock? Not too far away. If I continue to drive down this road, I eventually even get to a place that's called the St. Louis Arch. Have you ever been there before? Or the zoo? Have you ever been to the zoo? Those are all places that aren't too far away. So hopefully you were able to draw a map of your town and you can decide or tell what are some things that are around you and where you live. And maybe if you were explaining to a friend how to get to your house, you could draw them a map like the one that we just worked on. All right, friends, that's all I have for today. Thank you for sticking around and learning all about maps with me. Next week, we're going to learn a little bit more about geography, but we're going to be talking about how geography affects the way that we live. So hopefully I'll see you back next Friday. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.